When it comes to home defense, a good gun is always a good idea. However, some people get some wrong idea in that regard. To understand that, we have to take a look at the basic situation. You're at home. You're not somewhere on the way left with whatever small gun you have on you. You have something bigger at hand. At the same time, you're surrounded by people you do not want to hit. That might be your loved ones in adjacent rooms or your neighbors. None of them want some high-powered round coming over on a visit. Finally, you'll fire your gun inside a confined space and probably hope that you're able to hear anything again one day. So with these things in mind, it's time to evaluate which guns are just not right when it comes to defense against intruders. If you think I forgot a bad gun in my list, feel free to put it into the comments and let us know why you think it's bad. If you feel unhappy because I mentioned your gun, use the comments and try to convince me why your choice is supposed to make sense. Without further ado, let's get to it. Number 8, the Taurus Judge. When it comes to the Taurus Judge, a lot can be heard, and a lot of it is positive. However, once you do look a little bit closer, you get to see very fast why this gun is everything but an ideal choice. The Taurus Judge is a snub-nosed revolver with 5 rounds in the cylinder that either can be 410 bore shotgun shells or 45 Colt ammunition, and that's problematic. As a real snubby with a real short barrel, you will not get much power out of anything that you shoot out of this gun. If you want to defend your home, you will get better off with another revolver of the same size but with a full-length barrel. That will bring you faster rounds that do more damage. Being chambered in 410 makes this gun look like it's a shotgun for your pocket. That impression is not wrong, but also not right. While a 12-gauge shotgun has considerable power and does put an end to every fight rather quickly. The Taurus Judge is not that. It's 410, not 12-gauge. The pellets are smaller. There's a lower number of them, and one by one they have less power. The short barrel does not help with these power levels either, but it is helpful in increasing the spread to a degree that it becomes dangerous for others in the vicinity. And there is the 45 Colt that you can shoot from it. Here too, the short barrel limits the power. Add to this the long jump inside the chambers that are made for 3-inch shotgun shells. That diminishes power levels further. So what should you do? Well, get any other revolver in 45 Colt with the same overall size. You'll have a longer barrel with more power and do more damage. To illustrate that, there have been cases that the 410 caliber did not even make it through denim after traveling some yards out of the Taurus Judge. Also, the groups are measured in feet, not inches, as their accuracy is just terrible. And to do all that, you get a really big framed and heavy revolver. As a true snubby, the capacity stands only at 5 rounds. Any other revolver of similar size comes with 6 or even more. And a semi-automatic will get well past 10 rounds. This makes the Taurus Judge a just terrible choice for home defense. Number 7, any kind of Derringer. There was a time when Derringers were great self-defense weapons. This is true especially in the context of said time. But today, and when it comes to home defense, everything is different. Derringers are made to be small. What do you care about the size and weight of a gun that you put on your nightstand? Well, it's just wasteful to use a small gun when you could use something with more oomph. There are some particular downsides coming with it. That starts with having only 2 shots. That's all. You get 2 rounds to solve the problem, and after that, you are out. Add to this that the barrels are short, what makes these rounds hitting with only little energy, and then you have only 2 of them. If you seriously think about reloading a Derringer in a fight, think again. You would need to open the barrels, fold them over, fumble out the rounds, and insert 2 new ones. That does not only sound slow, that is slow. The result is that you have just 2 rounds and that's it. Last but not least, you will also find it hard to hit as a gun is so small that it's not easy to hold correctly. At the same time, you're in a bad situation and try to defend yourself. That altogether makes any Derringer for home defense just too small, too little power, too few rounds, hard to load, thereby just the wrong gun. Number 6, any kind of pocket gun. It is true that any gun beats no gun, but that is actually not always true. When you're at home, we just had that, it's a waste to go for a small gun. You can have something big and heavy, or just in a normal size to deal with an intruder. However, you might say that you're on your way to a lot and carry a small pocket gun anyway, so Why not use the same gun also at home? The answer is simple, because sometimes a shovel is better. When you're talking about pocket guns, we're in the realm of 22 long rifle and 25 automatic. It so happens that there's a story about the good old days of the Prohibition and moonshining. There were fights, and in that particular one, an attacker wanted to make an expression using a gun chambered in 25 auto. He put the whole magazine into the chest of his opponent, who then, completely unimpressed, walked to his car, took out a shovel, and beat the attacker to death with it. What does that tell us? You want to defend your home? Bring a shovel rather than a 25 auto, and even better, you know what? Bring a real gun. Number 5. Any single-shot rifle or shotgun. There is a class of firearm that does have its merits. Single-shot rifles are light, short, easy to carry, and helpful when hunting. So are single-shot shotguns. But neither are in any way good for the defense of your home. Going for single-shot means that you get one shot to stop the attacker. If this one fails, you'll be hard-pressed to reload with shaking hands and bumping herd. If you miss, you're in a problem, but also if you hit. If the intruder is not alone, his partner might think that it's better to overpower you before you're done reloading instead of running and taking one in the back. Number 4. Military surplus rifles. Military surplus rifles are great if you look for an investment as they gain in value. They're also super when it comes to hunting and if you defend a homestead, especially against four-legged predators. However, if you live in a city or with any kind of neighbor nearby, if your home is rather small, or if you have a large family in different rooms in your home, you might rethink this topic. First of all, military rifles are made for power, long range, and great penetration. Even if you hit an intruder, the bullet will just sail through him, the wall behind him, through whatever is behind that wall, and so on and on. This is something you do not want to risk. To achieve such levels of power in such ranges, you usually have long barrels and are long overall. If you want to move around with them, you better have big rooms with plenty of space. Otherwise, they're cumbersome. It might tempt the intruder to grab the rifle in your hand to wrestle it away from you. They also do not lend themselves to quick follow-up shots in case you miss, or need more than one round on the attacker. Older ones are often just bolt-action rifles, while more modern ones get you off target with the power of the round. Number 3. Any bolt-action hunting rifle. Hunting rifles have a good reason for their existence, and that is hunting. When it comes to home defense, they're not that good anymore. First, they shoot some really strong rounds that, again, endanger loved ones and neighbors. Second, they're slow to shoot, so forget quick follow-ups. Last but not least, they're big and unwieldy, so moving around with them, not easy. Number 2. Smith & Wesson 500. The Smith & Wesson and any other oversized revolver, in fact also the quite oversized Magnum Research Desert Eagle for that matter, are a terrible choice as well. Okay, you might not say that I argue for bigger guns, and these guns are bigger. At the same time, they're not as big that they become unwieldy, like for example a military surplus or hunting rifle. All of this is right, but there are a few more things you need to think about. Well, not necessarily too unwieldy, they're definitely too powerful. That does endanger, again, everyone in the path of the projectile. Also, this leads to a very pronounced noise when you shoot. You can easily say goodbye to your hearing for quite some time. However, the worst is yet to come. Try to convince a jury why you had such a powerful gun to defend yourself at home. They will really put you in a bad position. Number 1. The Hi-Point C9. Do not forget that you always get what you pay for. If you go the cheap route, like with the Hi-Point C9 or anything similar, you're in for some trouble. Not only are such guns terribly unreliable, they're also dangerous. Getting a big kaboom that changes your face instead of a clean shot at an intruder is the last thing you want. So, avoid cheap guns in plastic or aluminum that have a tendency to fail or worse, to burst under the stress of shooting. There you have it. My choices of the worst guns that might be used for home defense. Invest some time to think and a little money, and you'll not be hard-pressed to find something much better.